boy, you nigga, no question. You ain't run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I'm a 88 pack nigga, woof. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Lightweight, baby. It's time to bleed. I mean, we're going to tell some truth. We're going to tell some truth. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. We're strong up in here. See what we got in the building. Mark Wunderlich, my brother. Salute. 704 Joe. Healer. Teach. Hardcore Casuals. Mr. Shelton. Thomas in the building. Marcus. Andrew Gray. Smash the like button. Yeah. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to have a conversation. And there's nothing to hate this way. Prolific one, 88 Sports Talk, salute. But y'all see the title. And this was not a trap. I'll say this. Didn't know how many of y'all knew who Lemos was prior to the other night? Let's start there. How many of y'all knew? Don't front. Y'all ain't know. Because I didn't know. But Africa been in the news a lot, right? You know, and I was saying, hey man, you know, this guy's talking about Devin and, you know, he's doing edited short videos with the intense music behind it, and he's calling Devin out his name and all this other weird stuff. And I'm like, okay, you know, he's supposed to call Devin out. I get it. What is he doing? You know, all right, he's right in there to have a conversation, but Devin has big fish to fry. This guy has no belt. You know, all we know about him is he's from Brooklyn, and he has some above average skill. But they said, yeah, man, Africa got a fight coming up. It's on DAZN. I said, all right, I have DAZN. I have a paid subscription. Well, who's he fighting? Gustavo Lemos. I said, okay, he's a Latin fighter. Let's look him up. I looked him up, and the first thing I saw was an Argentine flag. And I said, uh-oh, wait a minute. Now, without even knowing who this guy was, you know what I didn't know? I knew that this was going to be a tough-ass fight. I did no homework on this man. I knew it was going to be a tough fight. Why? Look at the faces I chose to put on this meme right here. And for those of you that speak Spanish, you know what the title says. Argentine fighters no juegues. That means they don't play. Find me the Argentine fighter that's laid down. Find one. Anytime they've come over here and gotten a shot at anything, they ain't come to lay down. They didn't win them all. But you fought them. You knew that you was in the goddamn fight. Tell me I'm lying. That's all I knew about Gustavo. That's all I knew. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. The first thing I did, I saw the Argentine flag. I said, wait a minute. Oh, my gosh. Wait a minute. Wait. And then I looked at the record. I said, hold on a minute. This guy got 29 wins and like 19 knockouts? Time out. Wait a minute. Now, you might not know anybody on that record. You might not be able to name one person. I know he knocked out 29 of them. You got to factor that in. I was like, oh, uh-oh. So I'm watching it. He comes out to the ring. You know, I size up the opponent, and I'm like, all right, he's in shape, man. The bell rings. And he's in there moving. He got the peekaboo style going for himself. He's throwing sharp hooks. He was really trying to take Africa out, was he not? And by round 2, I said, oh, God damn it. He's going to do this for 12 rounds. This guy has a gas tank. I haven't met one Argentine fighter. I haven't seen one in the ring that didn't have one. These guys like play soccer in their spare time, if I'm not mistaken. These guys always running. So the gas tank was there. I'm like, yo. He wasn't effing around in there, man. Now, spoke about this in my video last night. 117, 111. You already know what time it is with that. But put in the chat what what judge did that? Go ahead. What judge scored the fight 117, 111? Go ahead. Go ahead. It's one of my favorite judges. Go ahead. Who did it? Who did it? Put his name in the chat. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Which judge scored it? 117. What? Yep. There you go. And to this day, I can't believe that that's his last name. When you have a judge watching your fight and his last name is Cheatham, you got a problem. I'm like, is that goddamn? Is that his goddamn name? How your name Cheatham in real life? And of course, 117, 111. I said, there you go. It's not what I saw. I'm watching that fight like, yo, some of the rounds could have went either way. Now, here's what I say. I'm not going to call it a robbery. Not going to call it a robbery. But it's one of those situations. You remember when Brian Castano fought Jamel the first time? It's one of those situations where if Lemos got the nod, I wouldn't have been screaming robbery because it was that close. Same thing with Brian Castano. I said, you know what? If they gave it to Castano, I wouldn't be mad because that was a tight fight, man. That was a real tight fight. So now we all know who Gustavo Lemos is. Now we know. He was punching with bad intentions. And the whole time, I'm like, man, if Africa dropped this fight, there goes that. There goes that. Here we go again. But what I'm saying is these Argentine fighters, they have a history of doing shit like this. Those guys are tough. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Now, I know, Africa, I saw a little clip of a video saying he don't think any of his contemporaries fought a tough fight like that. I disagree, but more on him possibly tomorrow. All I'm saying is the mandatory for the IBF championship, which is owned by Superior Matias. You need to be looking towards that and try and become a champion and put people in a position where they have to come see you. But, more on that tomorrow. More on that tomorrow. And I see y'all in the building. Much love to y'all. If I missed you, just know that I love you. So I just wanted to give props to the Argentine fighters this evening. We didn't know who Sergio Martinez, all the way on the left. We didn't know who the hell he was until when? How many of y'all knew who he was until he fought Paul Williams? Y'all remember that? We didn't know who the hell he was. He had gotten knocked out by Antonio Margarito early in his career. Did y'all know that? But he rebounded and, got back in the title contention. And next thing you know, we watching him, I believe, was it on HBO or Showtime? I forget the first fight. I think it was on Showtime. May have been. I could be wrong. And he's fighting Paul Williams, who was a 6'2" when he fought Sergio Martinez, was he 154? maybe 154. And yeah, Marcus, let me get to that. Paul, if y'all remember, he used to throw a million punches in the round. And Sergio was right there with him. Boom, 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 boom. The first fight was high action, like knockdowns and everything. It was crazy. And Paul got the nod in the first fight. You remember that? Paul got the nod in the first fight. And, you know, Martinez camp was like, nah, it's a travesty. I was like, no, it was a close fight. But I'd like to see it again. And Paul gave him the rematch. And y'all remember what happened in the rematch. You ain't never seen Paul Williams get done like that, ever. Because on top of that, Paul had a chin. Did he not? He had a chin. He had a hell of a chin. And Sergio hit him, man. And it was HBO. Thank you. And he slept Paul. Paul's eyes was open and he went face first. Boom! And then that's how we got to know Sergio Martinez. There you go. Now, like I said, these guys, they didn't win every fight. But name me one Argentine fighter that you know showed up not to fight. You can't name them. You know, they were trying to get Sergio in the ring with Floyd or whatever. And I mean, look, he had, although his shine, he had a good, 2-year run where there was a lot of what-if scenarios with him. You know, he shined for a little bit. You know, props to him. You know, he ran into Miguel Cotto, but the man had bad knees, man. That was another thing. He had bad knees, and Cotto did what he had to do. But prior to that, you see that man next to him, Marcos Maidana? I mean, come on, man. This guy's as tough as they come. Y'all remember when Maidana fought Amir Khan? Amir Khan floored him with a body shot. It was bad. It was all bad. But he got up and he commits to whooping Amir Khan's ass. You remember that? Goodness. I was going to get to that, big brother in life. Y'all remember when he fought Victor Ortiz? Victor Ortiz was kicking his ass, and then he just buckled down and came back, made him quit. I don't think I should be getting beat up like this. Did he not say that after that fight? I said, oh, man. My gosh. This was some stellar stuff, man. Maidana been tough, and then the Floyd Mayweather fights. Everyone said, yo, the first fight, Maidana beat him. I don't think so. It was a tough fight, but, you know, the thing with that is anything close with Floyd, they gave it to the person that was challenging him, which is not right. But Floyd did enough to win the first fight. Like I like to say, close fights like that, when the A side is not looking like himself, they can say, hey, man, you know, the B side won. That wasn't true. Because they ran it back, and Floyd was a clear winner. But there was a portion in that fight where Floyd ate a punch at the end of the round. I forget which round it is. Did he not knock Floyd's tooth out? Knocked it right out of his head. Yeah, I forgot to put Lucas Matisse in this. He's tough. These guys are solid dudes here, man. Yeah, you're right, Mr. Shelton. Devin Alexander did style on him. But these guys are there in your chest. After those losses, these guys come back and they be in your chest like nothing happened. You have to produce it. Where you been? Good to see you. They be in your chest like nothing happened. You know what I mean? So then, you know, this cat right here, Brian Castano. Nobody was really checking for him. He gets in there and goes toe-to-toe with Jamel Charlo. and fought to a draw. Everyone was like, nah. I asked the question, yo, look, the fight for me was that close. And I just asked the question, do y'all really think Jamel won? Or is it that y'all wanted him to lose? Well, you know, which one is it? Just be honest with yourself. It was a close fight. But did he win? Was it really a robbery? When you're facing someone that you don't like, and it's a close fight, automatically you're going to say that the person you don't like didn't win. So I understood that. And they ran it back, and Jamel left no doubt that he was better than Castano. But my point is, Castano was in his chest. And then then we heard the news. He beat Errol in the amateurs. So they knew this dude could fight. They knew this dude could fight. They knew he did. This guy could fight. And he's still around. And I didn't put his picture up there, but Lucas Matisse was knocking the shit out of people. So now you got Gustavo Lemos running around here. And I said, man, if he snatches this from Africa, bro, how fun would it be watching Lemos versus Isaac Cruz? Somebody ain't gonna make it out of there. That's ending in a knockout. That is ending in a knockout. But that would have been a fun fight to watch, wouldn't it? Cruz versus Lemos. Holy cow. I want to see Lemos again. The man could fight. All of these men here, and I wasn't even thinking really. I should have put Matisse up here. All of those men could fight. There's something in Argentina. Those guys are real fighters, man. Now, let's talk about that term trap. Was this a trap fight for Africa? No. No. I don't think so. If you got, like the brother Marcus mentioned, matchmaking, it is the matchmaker's job to know who they potentially putting guys in the ring with. And there are guys all around the world that can probably beat the people we support. You just haven't heard of them yet. It's your matchmaker's job to say, okay, him, and him, we could fill up the rest of the year with these 3 fights. What about this guy? That guy right there, he's ranked number like 104th in the world. But I seen him fight. He's a problem. Hopefully, in the next year or so, somebody batters him up. So by the time he gets to us, then we can take it. But right now, no. That's a matchmaker's job. I know a lot of y'all don't want to believe that. Everybody has a kryptonite. It's a matter of finding them. Some guys find them too fast by not paying attention to the goddamn rankings. Now, I don't know whose idea it was to put Rich in the ring with Lemos, but if you're trying to get him into a position of power where he has, with guys like Devin or Teofimo or Isak, if they have to fight him, you need to do more scouting. It's fool's gold. Put him in a ring with some fighters that have decent records, but a style that complements the fighter that you're looking out for, and see how that goes. Because personally, I wouldn't have did that last night. And look, as a supporter of the sport, I'm all for that because that was an exciting fight last night. I'm all for that. But when you're thinking business, what I always say about business, I understand the business of boxing, but you can't make me like it. Your job is to look out for your product because your product is the one that pays you. So was somebody asleep at the wheel? Who said that this fight was okay last night? I'd be on the phone. Who's in this camp? I saw Yoel Judah there, right? I'm gonna call Yoel. Because if you're trying to move a young guy along, you don't do that just yet. Because he's ranked high in the WBC rankings. He's a mandatory for the IBF. You don't do that yet. Not just yet. That's just my opinion. Hold on. Yeah, Jeff. That's the first thing I looked at. I said, this is a nah, Mr. Shelton, I see it. I see it. I see it. I said, man, you know what? This might be a sleeper right here. And it turns out to be a sleeper. They need to be more careful. So now Rich was in a tough fight. He didn't look too rattled. But that could have easily went the other way. If Lemos got the nod last night, I'd have been like, hey, man. Now, I did have Rich edging it out because I do rate defense. I do rate defense. A lot of people don't rate defense. Ring generalship, I think he controlled a lot of it. A lot of the hooks that Lemos was missing towards the last 20 to 10 seconds of the round, those hooks was very wide. There were spots where I thought Rich, when he kept him like 2 feet in front of him, that was the range. That's where he was supposed to keep him. That jab kept him in the fight. There was a jab to the body he'd throw. Then he was aiming a jab like around right here. He was aiming a jab right there, and that was the key to his victory. And when it was time for him to be defensive, he was. Close fight though. 115, 113, fine. 117, 111. The judge's name is Cheatham. So I mean, do we really have to go any further? That's his name. That's his literally that fool's name. Stop it. So to run it back, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. Do not run anything back at all. You stay away from that guy until you get a belt or two. And if that guy ends up in a position where he's your mandatory somewhere, entertain it. I'm hearing some weird things about Rich, but I don't know him. But I'm hearing some things about his demeanor outside the ring. And if it's true, I don't know. If it's true, it doesn't sound good. You know, I heard about him being late to a sparring session. I heard about people saying that he's acting more like the rock star than he is. I don't know. I can't confirm any of this. This is what I'm hearing. Joe Towns in the building. Healer, salute. I can't confirm any of this. But if he's acting like a prima donna, that's fine. But you got to perform in the ring. That's fine. And these Argentinians ain't fucking around. They're not fucking around. He got away with one, y'all. He got away with one. He got away with one, man. But this guy Lemos, they're gonna keep him around. And with him being around like that, he's gonna shake up the one. He's just another name in the hat at 140. And I want y'all to look. If y'all didn't watch the fight, gotta be on YouTube. Look at that 12th round. That guy's cardio. It was the same dude. Listen, he was jumping around that ring like it was round one. I said, well, cardio's not a problem with this dude. And to Rich's defense, his cardio wasn't the problem either. He just didn't think that he was going to be in a dogfight like that. when Lemos closed the distance on him, he had to fight. He absolutely had to fight. It was incredible. He had to fight. I was like, sheesh, what the hell? You know, all this talk about UK fighters and Mexican fighters and, you know, American fighters, Black American fighters have a specific identity. I get it. But oh, he's Haitian. He's of Haitian descent. Riches. That's cool. AZ Lando, salute. These Argentinian fighters are something else, man. There's something else. And I like to see more of them to shake some shit up. I like to see more of them. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's good out there in Argentina. And I say this respectfully because, you know, sometimes you got to tune bullshit out. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. You know, sometimes, you know, you're giving the person, like right now, I'm giving Lemos credit. And it was an exciting fight, and I want to see him in the ring again. Us as content creators, us as supporters of the sport, every fighter has a dickhead fan base. And you know, somewhere there's somebody waving a damn Argentine flag, and it's gonna get racial. It's our job to ignore that shit. And I know it's difficult. You could read something, it'll be infuriating. Yeah. The Brian Castano and Jamel Charlo situation, I ignored so much. I have a bit of a responsibility as a content creator. I ignored a lot. And all I said was the truth is going to be explained in that ring. I gave Castano a lot of credit, man. I said, man, was that really a robbery? It was a close fight. I know that. Robbery? I don't think so, but it was close. And like I said, the rematch, Jamel, he smoked him. He looked like he hit him with a hook on the inside. He looked like he melted. I was like, ooh. Now, I don't need to go on no tirade or nothing like that because there it is. I'm covering boxing. I'm not, I don't need this race thing. And I'm saying that I enjoy, really think about the pictures I put up. And I left off Lucas Matisse. That's my bad. But there's not one time we saw those faces, and now you can put Gustavo Lemos in it. There's not one time you saw those faces and was not entertained. Win or lose. Those guys come to fight, man. Those guys come to fight. They come to fight. Marcus, you're right. There was parts where Africa was looking at that damn camera. Like, I think he was watching the clock. I ain't like that, man. I was like, what is he concerned about? What's he concerned about? What is he's hoping the time run out? I was like, I don't like that, man. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's going on. But that guy's do you think he harmed his marketability? When I say harmed, I mean he did well. He almost stopped a kid that they're putting a lot of stock in. And he almost stopped Africa. He almost, when I say stop, he almost derailed the train temporarily. Do you think he hurt his marketability by doing that? You think so? But he's over there on the zone with Matchroom dealing with Eddie Hearn. And one thing we can say about Eddie Hearn as of late is that he's going to get him another fight. I'd say he'll be back in the ring probably by the summer. And we don't know who. But good Lord, man, that guy was amazing. That guy was amazing. 88 says Matias will stop him. Who? Lemos or Africa? I think Hitchins showed that he had some dog in him. He did show that. This was a tough fight, man. I'm not gonna say I was disappointed in his performance. Because, you know, 88 says he thinks Hitchins gets stopped by Mr. Requete. Yeah, probably. Eric Jordan, salute. Probably. I know people. I know styles make fights, but you know, people look. I heard they were really rough on him, though, right? I didn't see everything, but I heard they were very, very rough on him. Like, yo, you the guy calling out Devin and all these champions, and not you. I heard that a lot of that was going on, but you know, we don't know. We don't know until it happens. Lemos doesn't fight like Gabriel Matias. But all of we got 4 champions right now at 140. I need to see a unification ASAP. Cruz took care of business. Shout out to Rolly Romero. I hope he's okay. We don't know what Teofimo's doing, if anything. I don't know. I don't know until no smoke in the building. I don't know if he's going to do anything until he's actually in the damn ring. Yeah, Tio been real quiet, 88. Tio been real quiet. He's been real quiet. Very quiet. That's weird. Subrel's gonna, his hands are healed up. He'll be fighting in June. Heard he got something locked up, but after that, granted he wins. I'd like to see Hitchins go after that belt. He's a mandatory, but last night, didn't his post-fight seem kind of like weird? When he was talking to, what was that? He was talking to Chris Mannix, right? When he asked him, you know, what do you want to do? He mentioned he want to go to WBC route. I think he's ranked number 1. Yeah, Young Murph said Tia got a fight lined up. Yeah, he do. Forget against who. But he's fighting a nobody, of course. See, and that's the luxury that he has with that belt that he has. He ain't got to do shit. He's not playing chess. He's playing himself. And if he fuck around and create another rock star like he did Kambosos, and nobody knew who George Kambosos was until the first round of their fight when he dropped his ass. Ridiculous, man. So when you look at Hitchins' situation, go fight for the IBF. You're the mandatory, bro. Go fight for the IBF. I mean, what are you doing? Nobody cares about you enough to tolerate you skipping a line. You're not a rock star like that. You're not a rock star like that. You know, and I'm not saying he's a trash fighter. I'm saying, you know, keep fighting. Earn your rank. Earn your space. Because right now, no, bro. After this performance, everyone's saying Subadel kills you. Give Devin a reason to even respond to you. You haven't done anything. And like I said, I heard some things about how he's been behaving. You know, and I can't deny or confirm any of it. This is just things that I've heard. People that's been into the gym with him, someone that allegedly was waiting on him to spar, like do some work with him, and he showed up late or didn't show up at all. Something. I can't deny or confirm anything. I'm just saying this is what's coming across my virtual desk. And I'm like, well, if that's true, dump that prima donna attitude, because there's no place for it in the sport of boxing. And you're not there yet, young king. Get there yet. You got to make us believers. Now, you showed us some things last night, but I heard people were ripping him bad. This guy beat Subadel? No, he don't. No, he don't. They're calling him like the weakest link in 140. The weakest link with the highest ranking. I'm like, ooh, am I going to go that far? No, it was a tough fight. I think Lemos brings the fight to everybody. Based off of what y'all saw last night, do you think Lemos can compete with any of the 4 title holders? Yes or no? I think so. I think so. I think he, gives anybody a headache. That guy has a gas tank. You don't see shit like that. But like Main Biker said, I think in Argentina, all those dudes do is play soccer. Those are the most... What? All those dudes doing soccer, you're running all game long. Hell nah. Eric Jordan in that super chat, he said Argentino heavyweight? Shit. An Argentinian heavyweight? Jesus Christ. Can you imagine? That'd be annoying. Because these dudes won't stop moving. Sensei in the building. Salute.
Yo, man. My bad. Salute everybody.
It's all good.
Hey, I'm a victim of the itis. After my morning show, I went out to eat and
bro, yeah, I know.
Oh my goodness. All I could say is y'all wasn't a thought. I was gone. I was in the ZZ land, man. But I'm sorry, forgive my tardiness. I heard what you were talking about just now. What y'all should be mad is that my man didn't go see a barber before he showed up in the ring. Now, Stormy B man gonna bring it. Huh? The brother can't spell defense and he can't spell decomb, huh? So if you can't get those two together, you off my Christmas list. That's what I'm gonna say. But seriously speaking, yeah, I think that Lemos could have presented a problem for any of the other champions with his performance that he gave last night. Would he beat any of them? That's open. I would love to see him against Teofimo because that's the kind of style that I would like to see Teofimo try to solve that puzzle. I'm not so certain he does it. It'll be a knockdown drag out with him and Pitbull.
Oh man. Oh my God.
Be like, the fight that you always wanted to see between Tyson and Tua.
Oh wow.
Right?
In the pocket, balls to the wall.
There you go.
That'll be a war.
So yeah, but Mr. Hitchins got a lot more to deal with than just criticism. He got some things to do and work on in the lab because there were no adjustments by him in the ring. He pretty much fought the same way all night. And if that's your best, young man, maybe losing that decision would have been the best thing for him, because as I spoke in my post-fight and in my morning show, that's one of the things that you all don't think about when these judges give out bad decisions. When men are bailed out of circumstances by poor officiating and poor scoring by the judges, you are not made and held accountable for your lack of, and therefore you can dismiss a loss or a potential loss and almost move forward like it didn't happen and not address the elephant in the room, which is you need to get better. Because if you are not granted or given par gras in those circumstances, you're not forced to look in the mirror. What did I do wrong? What can I do to get better? I'm embarrassed. Let me go and tune myself up. See, those are the kind of things that happen that you don't think about. And earlier in my morning show, I mentioned it in the call in. I think it was Mr. Shelton that called in with me this morning. And I talked about it's just like as a parent, you're parenting. Doesn't matter if you have one or more. But when you set a precedent in your home and the kids know what the rules are, but they violate and they get in trouble, if it's not addressed appropriately, what will happen is they will begin to disrespect boundaries further and further. And then they will take that mindset toward the leniency out into the world. And then in the world, they will begin to do the same and disregard rules, regulations, policy, procedures, so forth, so on. And that's why we have jailhouses. Huh? Yeah. But see, it's like a hat in hand that goes on the head for the direction of where you see yourself going down your path and journey in life. And people don't often associate all of that unless it's a time of reflection.
Yeah.
You see? So when I spoke of these things, this is why I say what I say, because it makes all the difference in the world. And referees like the Tony Weeks, these judges like that Tim Cheatham, they need to be pulled out of the sport of boxing.
Yes.
Why? Because there's no accountability for them. You need to be able to explain to us why you make these choices. You don't need a barrier of protection by sanctioning bodies and also the networks where fights are held and maybe the venues that don't make you available to be questioned for your actions. If you could sit up and give me an honest assessment how in a 12-round fight, you only give a guy who competed last night like Lemos did only 2 rounds.
That's ridiculous, bro.
Then maybe you are not what we need in this sport. I'm not going to say you're corrupt. I'm not going to say you're cheating, but something is wrong with you, especially when the other 2 judges had it far closer and for one or the other. You see? So you come way out of the bag. Look at me, y'all. I got on a brand new pair of Stacy Adams, but everybody wearing gym shoes. Come on, man. Where's the accountability in this? And that's why I say what I say about it. I heard Blue Blood say it earlier as well. So I'm going to tell you something. And here live on this air tonight, you got what? A couple hundred people out here that's listening and watching. Hey, man, let's form a petition to be signed by the viewers of boxing in the community. You don't have to be LDBC. You don't have to be a part of the boxing community. You could be part of something that's just tired of seeing improper and foul play go on. Let's have a petition and get signatures on this petition to move to have change. And we could start with people like Tim Cheatham, and we could start with people like Tony Weeks, because they have a track record of running amok.
Yep. They have a track record in depth. And it's going to take more than us just coming up here every day and talking about it. If nothing's getting done. Just so much dysfunction. You know, but nothing ever gets done because, you know, you can feel one way, but the second somebody that you don't like agrees with you, you'll revoke that statement because you're an asshole. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. My brother I Rock in the building. Salute to you, good brother. He said salute OG and the sensei. Lemos has got some real dog in him. No denying that. And if given the opportunity, he can throw hands with the rest of the champions in the division. But 117, 111 is a shame. Hashtag Canelo Floyd. Do y'all remember that? Canelo and Floyd score when he fought Canelo? I don't know what that ref was looking at.
I talked about that earlier too. I mean, because how do you justify? The guy had it a draw for Canelo. A draw. In what lifetime? On what earth of logic? 114 to 114. But he couldn't hit Floyd with a handful of buckshots. And Floyd peppered him with shots all night long. He outweighed Floyd by damn near 20 pounds.
Damn near.
Floyd was 38 years old. And made him look so amateurish that he didn't belong. But yet, somebody had the nerve to put it 114, 114.
How? It's impossible. T.D. Harden in that super chat salute to Gorilla. He said, I love the two guys about as much as I love the Queens of Boxing to our dynamic duos, man. Appreciate you, man. Much love and appreciation, man. Much love.
Salute.
My brother Xavier Martinez says, fighters get tested before every fight to make sure they can compete. Why don't judges renew and get tested once a year to see if they can judge? That is a phenomenal idea. That's a phenomenal idea, and that's something so simple. That's like when you're a CDL driver, we have to get tested every year to make sure we still have our motor skills, our eyesight's still the same, that we're not like growing into Alzheimer's or something like that. We get tested every year. Why don't they do that for judge? And I still don't know what the criteria to being a fight judge is. I don't know. Tony Weeks is an MMA judge. Did y'all know that? A judge. He's a judge. I seen him. It's crazy, man.
And to add to that, make them available for questioning.
Yes.
For their actions and scorecards post-fight. Don't hide them. Don't shade them. Don't shield them. Make them available like you make fighters available for press conferences and everything. Judges and referees should be held to that same standard. And a lot of this stuff will go away, people. It will go away because as long as somebody could, they've done their job and walked out the back door. No. Do you see how people got up in arms about the corner of Tim Tszyu over the past week when they couldn't stop that cut on his head? And people, even if you don't know the sport, you're like, man, he should fire those people. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a natural reflection of your common sense to say something like that. It's like they prevented the man from being able to compete in fair play. It's like he was incapacitated. The fight should not have gone on. Who made that judgment, especially when a doctor said, oh, this is bad. I don't know. We should,
I mean, and this is sports. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to say a name to you. And a lot of y'all already going to know. Clarence Thomas. We all know who that man is. A lot of us do. Stormy, do you know how old that man is? Because I don't know. You know how old he is?
Now?
Yeah.
He may be in his 80s, if not late 80s or something. Clarence.
And he's at an appointed position. That position is lifetime. We don't know if that guy's suffering from Alzheimer's. He's just sitting there in the pictures with his judge gown. And he was
most of those pictures are probably porn pictures because we know his history. But anyway, I digress.
What? Google, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know. This is a high tech lynching. Yeah. He was old then. What year was that? 90 what? When that happened? That was like 90, right? That was like 1990?
Yeah, man. Back a few ticks.
Yeah. Just look it up. Google it. YouTube it. Put in Judge Clarence Thomas.
And if he was making those kind of decisions now, Biden aside, what kind of decisions could he be making now?
Right now, at 80 years old. At 80 years old. Lifetime position. Now, that's Congress, ladies and gentlemen. This is sports. We should have been here. We're the people. We pay money for this. CJ Ross, we should have been petitioning her, but like, yo, go sit her down somewhere. Okay, Tim Cheatham, Weinsfeld. I did a whole show about those guys. Sit their asses down somewhere. Those guys have the most craziest scorecards I've seen. And this is over and over and over. These referees. Come on, man. Y'all saw Joseph Ekbeko versus Abner Mares? Have you ever watched that? Have you ever watched that fight? Have you ever watched that fight? Now watch this. Sergio Mora. It was, I'm sorry, what's his name? Russell Mora. Russell Mora was the ref in that fight. There's like 500 low blows. If In fact, Becco can make babies after that, I'd be surprised. And I'm being serious. But here's my point. He was reprimanded, a little slap on the wrist, and then they gave him his job back. 4 days before Wilder Fury 3, they took Ortega, who was the original ref, and said, you're doing a co-main event. And they put Russell Mora as the main event. And I said, I wonder why the fuck they did that. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, where do I know this name from? And then I went to Google. And I said, oh, this is the dude from the Becco Morris fight? How did he get this assignment? Nobody has explained that to us. You know why? Because nobody cared. I called Tay Jones and I said, bro, you saw what they did? He said, no. I said, we put Russell Mora as the main event. He said, who is that? I sent him a link and I said, that's him. He said, all right, well, Fury got the go and fro. And I'll be damned if he went, but who blew the count? Who blew the count? Mission accomplished. Well, he's retired now, and he does something for the WBA now. Shocker. The WBA, hashtag Mike Fox.
Let's revisit that too.
Real quick,
what he actually
anybody in that super chat, he said boxing judges work with betting sites, no refunds. Psst. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not saying you're lying. For real. ATL salute. Go ahead, Stormy.
Wow. And I hadn't even, looked at that super chat till you just read it. But
Ooh.
That opens up a whole nother can of worms now, because for boxing, they tell you about betting before every bout now and everything, trying to get you juiced up for that. You done already bought tickets. You done already bought refreshments and everything, whether you're actually attending the venue or you're at home. And then they encourage you to gamble and bet too. So if you're a judge and you've already received a manila envelope for what you do, you got an inside track on everything. And you can do well.
I wonder if they bet.
Betting booth.
I wonder if they bet.
Of course they can. Listen, if they told you and you're a judge that you can't you still get the job done?
That's true.
Your wife, your son, your daughter, or whatever, your cousin can go to the betting booth for you on your behalf. Who can stop that?
Oh my God.
But Pete Rose ain't in the Hall of Fame though, right?
Over that.
Come on now. You see how common sense works, people? I went straight there. Has nothing to do with boxing, does it?
Nope.
But it has something to do with what? Corruption.
This is why I don't watch the NBA anymore, y'all. There's a what was the NBA ref's name? He got a YouTube channel. He's snitching on everybody. Y'all know who I'm talking about. What's his name? He did time.
Yep.
He did time. Let me take y'all back. 1994. Chicago Bulls playing the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Tim Donaghy, that's his name. Now let me talk to the Chicago Bulls fans. All right, this was the year that Scottie Pippen stepped up to the plate, right? So they met the Knicks in the playoffs, and I think this was this might have been the Eastern Conference Finals. So it came down to the Knicks and Bulls again. This time they're Jordanless. So there was a call made. Y'all remember Hubert Davis? He shot the three. Scottie went up and defended the shot. The ball released from his hands. Scottie went to defend it, missed the ball. The horn sounded. The game was over. Scottie lands on Hubert, falls, but the game was over. Hugh Hollins, the black guy, I'll never forget his face. Hugh Hollins blows the whistle, right? I think the Bulls were up by 2, maybe 1 or 2. Hubert Davis shot the ball. The horn sounded. He missed the ball so when the horn sounds, game's over. He lands on him. This motherfucker puts 1/10 of a second back on the clock. Hubert Davis hits 3 free throws and won the game. Okay? And Scottie Pippen, if you talk to him today, you know he never got over that. He said they robbed us of that moment because that year, Scottie Pippen put the Bulls on his back. And if the Bulls win that game, they went back to Chicago a day later, 2 days later, and they smoked the Knicks. The series was over. That was 4 games right there, but they lost that game. They won in Chicago, came back to New York in 7, I think. I could be wrong. And then they lost in New York. After that game, with the Hubert Davis game, he went to Hugh Hollins and said something to him. And I remember Scottie, like 20 years later, they was like, they was talking about low points in his career. And he said, I never got over that. Because beating the Knicks was high on his itinerary. Because they said, yo, man, you can't do shit without Mike. And that was the year. Now, would they have beaten the Rockets that year? I don't know. But they didn't make it because of one fucking call. And I sat there and watched that. I said, yo, the game was over. The game was over before he touched him. So then enter Tim Donaghy, who gets caught with this bullshit. And then he starts snitching on everybody. I heard he got a YouTube channel where he's calling plays like, yo, look, this is bullshit. Look what they did right here. This was a setup. This is why I don't watch it. I used to be hardcore on the NBA. I don't watch it anymore. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. And I'm there with boxing. 117, 111. Why are you going to do Lemos like that? You couldn't have given him a 115, 113? The fight was that close. Listen, when Castano fought Jamel Charlo the first time, I wouldn't have been mad if they gave it to Castano. Why? It was that close. If it was a draw, it was that close. They gave it to Jamel. I said, okay, it was that close. Last night, I thought that Africa won it, but I wouldn't have been mad at a draw. I wouldn't even be mad if they gave it to Lemos. I'd have been like, okay, but it was close. I'm not screaming robbery. But 117, 111, something is wrong, man. And Jamboree, he said, salute Drew and Stormy, and salute to you, good brother. What'd you say, Stormy?
Salute, Ack. Listen, and talking about the NBA, there are plenty of examples of that. Tracy McGrady went to one of the Western Conference teams. I think it might have been the Spurs in the last portion of his career, and he was coming off the bench. Tracy McGrady. Do you remember that?
Yes.
San Antonio, I believe it was San Antonio. Am I correct in that? Because I'm getting older and I forget things a little bit now. Was it San Antonio where he was coming off the bench for them?
I think it was the Spurs. I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was the Spurs.
They were in the finals, or they were either in the finals or going to the finals. And McGrady, who had been helping them out in that playoff run, in clutch time, in resting a couple of the starting players and everything, the coach wouldn't put him in the game.
Yeah.
Now, McGrady could still score. He could still shoot the lights out when it came to being out there behind that arc. And he was always a matchup problem for people because at 6'8", damn near 6'9", he was a lot like Kobe and everything. He just was that guy. I always looked at that as very funny. Like, why did they not put some of their best forward to win. And a lot of times those questions are not asked by the media in the locker rooms and stuff like that. And it's like, it makes you wonder. First of all, the media is in on the crap because you guys are not holding these people accountable. You're not asking the tough questions. And you let them off the hook when you do that. Just like we ask the tough questions when we get a chance, when we get guys on here with us on Sunday nights, right? And a lot of times they'll tell you, oh, I'm glad you asked. But when we had Razor Ruddock on a few weeks back, same thing. I pointed it out. I was like, I always wanted to ask this because it's a natural question to ask, but it's funny how when the people are in the position to do so, they don't. They sit
there.
The real journalism and they don't say these things. That's a part of it, bro. Because like I said a moment ago, when I mentioned the corruption and the sports, and I went from baseball to, it's like, because it's a natural thing for you to be able to sit up and recognize, oh, there's something wrong here. And do we not talk about it with certain people who interview the fighters?
Yeah.
I'm so glad when fighters like Regis Prograis, Terrence Crawford, Andre Ward, when they could tell guys to their face, I don't want to talk to you. You own something. And this and that. And I am so thankful for those guys. Because typically when they do that, and they've said it pretty much to the same individuals, right? Because there's something wrong there. Bill Haney came out and did a public service announcement. And he talked about someone specifically. And when he did that, no, he wasn't dissing somebody. He was pointing it out to you guys who are numbskulls and follow in behind the false media coverage. There's got to be something wrong who will go around and has an agenda, for someone who has an agenda to go around and against fighters, every opponent, try to get them to say something bad or something against or whatever as journalism, when you don't even like those people that you're talking to, but it's an open opportunity for you to go out and start little bonfires and keep people at odds and everything, and also keep up bias, bigotry, prejudices. But you're not held accountable either. So salute to those brothers who have told you what they need to tell you and put you in your place. Because we know you sit out there and you be looking at us. So we talking to you. I ain't gotta see you. Because when people know, they know. And if they don't know, too damn bad.
True story. Yeah, Isaiah GQ, the Lakers versus the Kings. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. I was turned off from that, man. I said, bro, what is happening here? I just watched the Pippen foul on Hubert Davis just now. I'm incorrect. It was 2 seconds left on the clock. But there was no foul there. Hubert just played it off. He kicked his leg out and fell on the floor, and they blew the whistle. Still in all, I watched that. I said, man, they stole that game from that man. And they stole the series. That's what they did. They stole the series, man. But we're talking about corruption on a whole. And what happens is you can stun the growth of from somebody doing something. Do you know things like that can discourage an athlete and saying, you know what? If this is what I have to look forward to, fuck this shit. I'd rather get a job.
What about what we've said about these fighters? You toil in the gym from anywhere from 6 to 8 to 12 weeks of training, putting your body through rigors that the common guy doesn't even think about. Right. You're away from family, your children, your wives, spouses, right. the regular pleasures of everyday life. You deny yourself these things to prepare for one night. And then on the night when it comes, you perform at your apex, the
That's right.
pinnacle of what you're capable of, only to have a judge or a referee intervene and take that away from you. There's something terribly not right about that. We're not talking about where you were just on the wrong end of a decision that could have went either way. We're talking about the influences of someone who made it where the other person got away. And it's happening far too frequently. Tony Weeks, for example, the whole fight with Rolly and Barrosos, just a few weeks either before that or after that, it was that fight where he jumped in and stopped that fight in the first round. And then he put that tweet out about, well, we knew this guy had a brain injury or this or that. And then the tweet went away and then nobody held him accountable. First of all, and Teddy Atlas came out and said something about this himself. He's like, for him to put that out, but then he retracted it.
Man.
That meant that he had access to the fighter's medical records, or he was told about the fighter's medical records, which still speaks of corruption because there is something called confidentiality between you and your physicians.
Yeah.
Now, yes, the board of directors of boxing or whatever that with the sanctioning body, they supposed to see this stuff, right? And you pass a physical. So who passed him?
Doesn't that violate HIPAA laws in any way?
It violates a whole bunch. And okay, let's go back to Spence versus Crawford. He didn't want to make no excuses after the fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, what has come to pass since the fight? He's had eye surgery. Why do you think I got hit with so many jabs and everything? Huh?
Who cleared him?
Probably rib injury or whatever, which meant he had to take a shot or take something to be able to endure the pain or whatever during a fight or whatever. Mm-hmm. So if this is true, then medically, my common sense is telling me you shouldn't have been in there. And if that's really valid, who's saying, okay, yeah, we know it's 20 million on the table for you guys and all of this. However, a postponement for a few weeks till you get beyond these issues is better than somebody just securing bags so that those proprietors who allow things to pass through can get their check too. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? Yes. And don't forget, Spence said before the fight week, the presser, he said, where's the money going?
He damn sure did.
That. Y'all forget that?
Yeah. You done burnt the bridge already. I hope y'all paying attention. This ain't coming from a place of hatred from anybody. This is a
what the fuck?
Are y'all paying attention? This is boxing, y'all. This is boxing. The fighter's been talking. Have y'all been listening? Didn't Bud tell us? Al told him, I'm not letting anybody near this fight. What the fuck? I thought he was lying. Wasn't lying. Wasn't lying, man. This is the sport. 117, 111. How'd I know there was gonna be a funky score? And then I looked at the judge and I said, it's him. There he go again. There he go again. Tim Cheatham, you cannot make that name up. That's right up there with the worst name in sports. The worst name in sports to date is Dick Butkus. That's a real person, y'all. That's a real person. Right underneath him, pause, is Tim Cheatham. A real judge named Tim Cheatham, who is a notorious, fabulous fuck up. That's what you do to Lemos? Why'd you do that to that man? He fought his heart out. Close fight, but he fought his heart out. Why the fuck would you do that to him? That's not fair to him. Stormy's right. These guys sacrifice away. They be away from their families for like 9 weeks. Restraining from everything. Family, their kids, their wives, everything. To seize one moment just to get it snatched by a fucking judge named Tim Cheatham. Come on, man.
It's just like the conscious decision that was made by the network last night to go and sit down and interview live on the air an inebriated David Benavidez. Come on, man. Who okayed that?
Man.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. As soon as I saw that, I was like, would they have interviewed an inebriated, and don't think that he ain't been inebriated, Canelo Alvarez? Would they have done that? No.
Nope. Not at all.
David had more than a few. And he's not training. He's not, and he's having himself a good time at a professional fight. He's in attendance. It's like, that's okay. That's great. I didn't judge him. I judged whose decision was it to interview him.
Who did interview him? Who was that?
That was
Who
Mannix.
was that? That was who?
Mannix. Chris Mannix.
They don't give a shit.
But
People
see, they did it by design. They did it because, remember, this is a guy who is hot on Canelo's heels. But any bad thing that they could do and exploit and this and that, dude, they're gonna do that. But what was gold was when it finished and they went back to the fight, nobody said a damn thing.
Nope.
Nobody said anything along the lines of, oh, it's great to hear from Benavidez. They didn't say anything. I think they all turned their mics off and said, hey, nobody say nothing about that. But we got it on, we got it on air. He was drunk. But in the same token, just a few years ago, they had a coked out Tyson Fury running around in the ESPN studios. You're a heavyweight champion of the world. Clowning and acting belligerent and everything. No shirt on. All of that. Y'all remember that? And it was like, oh, well, when you're the heavyweight champion of the world, who's going to say anything? Right? Remember that?
That's exactly what they said. Those exact words. That's exactly what they said. That's exactly what they said. Now, me personally, if I'm running things, I would tell all my media, when you interview these guys, before you turn that camera on, you go talk to them to see if they're compromised by any kind of narcotic or alcohol. And if you feel that they're not under the influence, then you turn the cameras on and talk to them. But if you know that they're messed up, there's nothing wrong than putting the camera on them and just saying, hey, David Benavidez in here, just put his name, call his name so he could throw up the peace sign and then take the camera off of him. Because that gives a black eye to the sport as a whole. Now, Canelo fans, if y'all can take that as a W, please don't. Because we know enough about Canelo and what he does in his recreation, which is also his business. But that man likes to drink. We had video of him, compromised. So no harm, no foul. But this was worth discussing. The corruption in the sport. And listen, if that 115, 113, if one of those scores was for Lemos, and that, look, man, I don't even want to go down that goddamn route, but if that was the tiebreaker, if it was 115, 113 for Africa and Lemos, and Tim Cheatham was the tiebreaker, 117, 111, you damn right they need to be interviewing. They should be a post-fight for the judges. Stop acting like these judges were like the judges that said Ronnie King deserved to get his ass beat. Get them some interviews, man. Somebody find them. Say, yo, I want to talk to you. Assholes, man. They ruining things. But I do believe it's a joint effort. But as it stands right now, I was telling everybody, Stormy, holy shit, this is the Olympics? There's a guy in the Olympics, I think he plays for Korea. His name is Kim You-suk. Oh shit. Stormy, he looks like one of the deadly Venoms, bro. You see that?
Yeah.
He looks like he got hands. Golden arms. That's fucked up. Kim You-suk. Kim Yo-suk. Whatever. That's messed up. Anyway. The Argentinian that roster. So let this be a lesson to all people that are booking these fights for your fighters up and coming. If any of their opponents is from Argentina, please do some homework. Because the first thing that set me off was like, wait a minute, this guy got 29 victories and 19 knockouts and no losses. And then I saw that flag. I said, uh-oh. I was like, uh-oh, wait a minute, whoa. Stormy, we talked about this. Now, I didn't know anything about Lemos, but I saw that record and I saw that flag. I was like,
Well, remember, we had that conversation and I said, I don't know nothing about the guy, but I know he's from Argentina. And that's when you said, oh, shit.
Yo, it was an oh, shit moment.
Yeah. Because, and listen, even and I talked about this in the post fight yesterday, and then this morning's show. I said it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman from Argentina, dude. They're gonna put it down. You understand? Yep. So all this overlooking, please don't do that. Be invested. Why do you think I be covering the sport like I do? I be talking about people, and even when I don't know a lot, I'll say, hey, I don't know much about this guy, but he's from here or she's from there, you know, that kind of thing, to make you aware of, hey, you know, don't just, like, I got a video coming tomorrow morning about Jared Anderson. Now, this guy he's fighting, Neary, I don't know nothing about the guy, but he's from Belgium. Okay? Yeah. Now, personally, in that heavyweight doubleheader that's coming up with he fighting that guy and Efe is fighting that guy, Guido Vianello. Listen, it should be Efe and Jared. That's what it should be. And it should have been this for a minute now.
Yeah.
We just had an example of that last week out of the UK with Fabio Wardley and Frazier Clark. Two young heavyweights that are ready to take that next level toward contenders, and they fought each other in their primes, in the thick of trying to advance. They're not trying to like, well, we'll meet each other down the line. They just came on out and fought each other. They could still meet each other down the line. That fight turned out to be so good, they're talking about a rematch right now because it can net them a lot of money. But they're going to keep feeding us Jared Anderson against guys that we don't know and everything. And believe me, sooner or later, somebody going to get lucky and hit the jackpot. You know why? Look at how he's living his life outside the ring.
There you go.
And Efe Ajagba, who ever since he left Ronnie Shields, what planet is he on?
Saturn.
We haven't forgotten that he lost to Frank Sanchez.
Yep. Never ran it back.
Mm-hmm. And even in that victory, nobody is calling for Frank Sanchez. Isn't that ironic?
He's ranked pretty high.
But we were led through these stories about Jared Anderson doing so well in training camps of renowned fighters that we were like, okay, sucking on the cock of that information that we never saw it for ourselves. We just heard about it, right?
Heard about it. Yeah.
But then when you see him perform against Prince Charles Martin, you're like, wait a minute.
This the guy? Yeah. Yep.
If that is the American heavyweight representation, we in deep doo-doo. Because I'm looking at what's happening over there in the UK, and I'm like, they're advancing. They're getting better. And they're getting better. And they're getting better. We are receding. Just like some people's hairline. Huh? A year ago it was here. This year it's there. Huh? LeBron James. Anyway, I'm telling you, these things happen. You're going to have to wake up, people. Because comfort animals can't fight for you, huh?
So Jared Anderson, his next opponent is what's that cat's name again? You just said
Riyad Neri.
Okay.
Riyad Neri. He's from Belgium. He's from
Riyad Neri.
Where Van Damme is from.
What is he ranked in which division?
Heavyweight.
In which section and body?
That I don't know because I didn't look into, sometimes when they pull these guys out, they'll stick them into a sanctioning body just before the fight gets announced. And then all of a sudden it make it look like that's what they was ranked.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now.
Tell me if you heard of him before tonight when I'm telling you that's who Jared is getting ready to fight.
I know the name. I know the name, but I can't pick him out of a lineup. I don't know him.
Now, what about that other guy with the Arab type name that fought on the Day of Reckoning card that did very well, that beat up the big heavyweight dude? We ain't heard from him because he looked too damn good. And they're like, oh, snap. You better not put him in there with any of our young You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, the white guy. What the fuck is his name? I know exactly what you're talking about. The white guy, and he was the underdog, man.
Yeah.
He was the underdog.
When he beat that big monster looking dude up.
Wait a minute, wasn't that Ajit Kabiel?
There you go. JDM said his name, Ajit Kabiel. Kabiel looked so good that night. I said he looked like Ray Mercer. When Ray Mercer was in there beating up on Tommy Morrison and everything. Yeah. That's what he did. And we ain't heard from that guy since. Why not? I want to see him again.
He's right there in the mix, man. He's right there in the mix. Salute to my brother Khalid Enigma. I was talking to him earlier. He said Africa cannot duck that Matia smoke after running his mouth. He can. He can't. He can. I'm holding him accountable. L Dub in the building. Salute. L Dub says, oh, Ajit Kabiel versus Frank Sanchez on the Us fight. Okay, that got to be the co-main event.
Oh, that's nice.
That is nice.
That's nice.
I like that.
I'm going to tell you something. The winner of that fight right there deserves a title shot next.
He got next.
Deserves a title shot next. And I'm going to tell you something. This is after looking at the fighters, knowing who they are, what they've accomplished, and knowing with common sense again, which is not a part of boxing. It's like Anthony Joshua, and I heard your video, brother, which was good.
Yes.
Talking about, he'll probably come back in September. Why? Are you waiting for people to get beaten up along the way and everything so you can kind of step over bodies and get an opportunity when you need to be sacrificing no diddy, your rear end in there against somebody who's competitive? Philippe Hergovich, Sanchez, Kabiel, all of these guys, ain't nobody talking about you fighting them. But you all of a sudden I'm going to take on the winner of Fury and Usyk. Usyk just whooped your ass twice already. And the consensus had been that you ain't going to be able to beat Fury. So it's like, fight somebody else. Stop
to the back of the line.
Like a raccoon waiting for food to drop off the table and you run over and snatch it and grab it.
He got to get back to the line, man. He got to get to the back of the line and do it over.
Fight one of them young brothers over there that's on your heels. You got Danny Dubois, and now you got Big Fraze, and Fabio. Fight them guys. They earning it, bro.
Him and Danny Dubois make sense.
Wardley, let me tell you guys about Fabio Wardley. He did not have an extensive amateur background like most of the fighters do. They have amateur fights and everything, whether they're Olympians or not. But he's what they like to call, in their culture, white collar, meaning that he didn't get it through the mud like everybody else. But he's one of those prodigies that have come through professionally without much of an amateur background. And Fabio is whooping people's asses. And he's showing more heart, more guts, more determination, and than guys who are being formed and shaped and developed to be somebody. He's already showing you he's somebody. And Big Fraze, who had a good amateur background, he's a couple of years older than Fabio. I think he's 30, Fabio's 28. But he has less fights than Fabio. I think he's now 8-0-1 with their draw with 6 KOs. Fabio's record is more like 17-18-0 with about 10 KOs or something like that. But he's fought a better opposition between the two. But everybody he's fighting, he whooping their ass. He had Big Fraze on the canvas. He knocked out David Adelaye, who was supposed to be the newcomer, right? Big jab, fast hands, strong guy, talked a lot of stuff. He knocked him out in 6 or 7 rounds. Easily. Dude, he's doing it the right way. And I'm like, okay, they're not seeing what I'm seeing. But the one thing they're not doing, they're not pairing him with Joshua. They're not pairing him with Dubois. They're not pairing him with anybody from the UK that's a good fighter, that's ahead of him. Because he very well may be the real deal. And the fact that he's the white collar fighter. They want to try to sell you the rugged dudes and stuff like that. But he's rugged where it counts, in those ropes. You see what I'm saying? So what we're talking about is across the board, across the world. And you listen to the Johnny Nelsons and those guys, they say, well, when they were picking the fight going in, they were favoring Frazier. Why? Because Frazier had trained in the gym. He had sparred with the likes of some of the more known heavyweights and, Furies and Joshuas and stuff like that. He's been in the gym with those guys. The gym work don't mean nothing at the end of the day. Jared Anderson is living proof of that.
Yeah.
But when it counts, getting it done, this is what we're talking about here. And notice, I am the only freaking one who's been talking about these guys. I'm the only one. And that doesn't make me, I'm better than anybody. It's just that, like, my focus is different because I realize what's happening. Like I said, if this kid, Riyadh, beats Jared Anderson or gives him a damn good fight, that's bad news for Anderson. Because it's like, okay, you won't step it up. You won't fight who we want to see you fight, but you meaning to tell us that you're supposed to be the heavyweight hopeful from the West? There's a reason that you ain't fighting Frank Sanchez or Effie Ajaba. But I don't want to hear about you. You seem to be falling in love with getting in trouble outside the ring with the law. We've seen that how many times?
Too many.
There are guys who live with their lives on the police blotter, man.
It's disgusting, man. L-Dub says AJ fighting the winner of the Hrgovic versus Dubois for the vacant IBF. The IBF will strip Usyk versus Fury winner. Why? Why would they do that? You have to educate me on that, L-Dub. Why would they? Okay, so whoever wins out of Usyk and Fury, I would figure that's a 2-fight deal. Both men have a rematch clause, but what do I know?
But see, that's even in something like that, that's trying to create an angle for him to get inside to become a 3-time world champion.
Yeah.
Now, Philippe Hergovic can stop that mess. Danny Dubois can stop that mess. If the two of them come out and look too damn good, if that fight between those two look as good as the fight that happened with Fraze and Wardley, listen, think about it like this. This is when it's in the fighter's hands. And don't forget, you guys, it was Daniel Dubois that called out Philippe Hergovic. It wasn't even his turn up. It was AJ's responsibility. But AJ went the Ngannou route to make a huge payday against a guy who wasn't a professional fighter. And he made a shitload of money knocking out a guy in 2 rounds and allowing these people who ride his jock to talk about he's back. He ain't fought nobody yet. From a former sparring partner in Alawalin to Ngannou, hell, Ngannou could have possibly lost to Alawalin. And damn sure Jermaine Franklin, I haven't forgotten. I'm looking at the path. Hergovic fought life and death against Big Zane.
Yep.
Got dropped a couple of times and still pulled that decision out. Many people thought Zane won that fight. But it was Zane who lost his discipline, got woefully out of shape and everything, and managed to beat Joe Joyce. However, why haven't Joshua said, hey, Joe, you're my countryman, let me fight you? Because Joe Joyce is dangerous still. But here you got Dubois, who called out Hergovic, called him out. Hey, I don't hear you saying my name. Danny Dubois said that. That's why that fight's being made now. Because Hergovic, he just wants to fight somebody. He don't want to fight another stiff like he did on the night of the Day of Reckoning card. He want to fight somebody. But Joshua was supposed to be the guy. Because even Ed Hearn has said, after the Wallen victory, he said, oh, we're looking at Philippe Hergovic next. But no, they weren't. Because Hergovic will get up for Joshua, won't he? He'll get up for him. Whether he can beat him or not, who knows? Yeah, he supposedly dropped an amateur decision to him. But that shit happens all the time, don't it? You lose to a guy in the amateurs, then you get out there in the pros, and it's a different score. Because Joshua has problems with guys who fight back. And if Dan Dubois happens to beat Hergovic, you could forget about it when it comes down to Joshua, because he won't want no parts of Dubois because of what has happened between him and Dubois in the gym. Can we get that? Whoa, can we get that?
Whoa!
Now, what did Dubois do to Joshua in the gym?
I heard he knocked him unconscious. That's what I heard. I wasn't there. But that's what I heard. And guess what? Dubois was sitting on that, and then when they cornered him finally, he said, yeah, you know, I did that. I didn't hear AJ saying he didn't do it. So, hey. The moral of the story is, I'm not sold on Jared Anderson. And it's time for him to step it up now. I'm not sold, bro. I'm not sold on Jared Anderson. It's time for him to step into the AM now. Come on now. As far as AJ is concerned, I'm not sold, bro. You've been a marketing scheme. It's been fuck you for the last 4 years, for real, dude. There's no undisputed champion right now because of you, asshole. There's no coming back from this, bro. This is all your fault. Usyk is fighting Fury for Undisputed all the marbles because of you. You did this shit. You could have fought Deontay. Maybe you'd have won. Maybe you wouldn't have. We'd have had an undisputed champion one way or another, and you fucked it up. I will never let you live that down. It's your fault. But am I wishing ill will on Jarrett? No. I'm just saying I'm not sold. He got to show me. Now, he could show me. He could get in there and start styling on these dudes. Maybe. I'm saying show me. Show me. I'm saying show me. It's time now. It's time. And watch how I bring the conversation full circle. These motherfuckers that we mentioned had a smidget of the heart as these Argentine fighters had. Maybe boxing to be a little more competitive. Maybe. They could learn a thing or two. It's some bullshit. Disgusting behavior, man. And salute to L Dub for bringing that information. Because I think when you say it's time, I think it's time for Frank Sanchez to emerge. Because he's been doing everything, and he had it. He was the opening fight on Day of Reckoning and got a knockout. I think it's time for him. It's time. So he got some work coming up. Who L-Dub say he fighting? What did he say?
Caballero.
Adji Caballero. It's a tough fight for him. But I'm gonna pick Frank Sanchez. I'm gonna pick Frank Sanchez. Adji Caballero, when you look at it, that giant guy that he knocked out, the more you watch the fight, the more you understand that he was kind of like made to order for him. I know on visual sight you don't think so. But once you started going to his body, that dude, I think he broke that dude's ribs, man. That guy was a big menacing, you know, those guys from that side of the world, they got that the wild hair and the big old beards. They look like Vikings. You know, it's a look that they have, but that's all it was that night. Adji Caballero put those paws on him. But although Caballero's a workhorse, I think that Frank Sanchez is hungry. And he's one of those highly skilled heavyweights that I want to see more of. I want to see just how good he is. And
I want to see Frank because they've been passing him by, man, like taxis passing up black folks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They've been passing that man by. And I'm going to tell you something. I'll say it because people are scared to say it openly. The Cuban fighters are being held and withheld from world title opportunities consistently. They don't want a Cuban champion for whatever reason. They don't want those guys at the key points of boxing. Heavyweight, light heavyweight, super middleweight. You know what I'm saying? The lightweight divisions. They are holding those men back. We've seen it consistently. How long was King Kong Ortiz in the top 5 of the heavyweight division, going all the way back to Klitschko's reign as a world champion?
He's been there.
He was always there.
Let me tell you something. Before you finish your thought, let me tell you something. He was there back then. And while he was there, but when I was said early in the show, y'all, when you have a matchmaker, the matchmaker's job is to look at the landscape and take the person that is hired to do the job and say, okay, this is a good direction, this is a good direction, but there's a guy over there from West Bubblefuck, not him. Don't pay no mind to that record. He might have 2 losses, but that guy's style will give our guy a fucking headache. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. And Ortiz, back when Klitschko was having that reign, Ortiz been there. Ortiz been there, and he was avoided. Remember, y'all, Eddie Hearn signed him to shelve him because Ortiz was AJ's responsibility. And that's when the brother Deontay said, nah, give me that fight. Whole time that was fucking AJ's responsibility, and nobody held him accountable. That's what, except us. We was like, yo, AJ was supposed to take care of that. He didn't do it. Now you've seen why.
And so they're still doing those kind of things today. They want Devin to get in there and take care of other tough fights for already established guys. Devin is supposed to go out there and fight everybody and hopefully lose to one of them.
Man,
in the meantime, these other guys have easy tricks toward what they do and safekeeping and safe havens. I mean, come on, man. The stuff, it just because it's a different weight class don't mean it ain't the same crap.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I did a show. One of those writers, you know what? These guys, they're not even writers. The guy put on Boxing News what Devin got to do to reach the level of popularity of Tank. He had Super L on there. He had Teofimo on there. He had Canelo on there. He had David Benavidez on the list. I was like, who is this guy? Devin got to do all of that? And these other niggas ain't got to do anything. Salute Tate Jones in the building. Yeah, I agree with you. I thought Hitchins won the fight. I did. I thought he won the fight. But that 117, 111 was out of this world. That was out of this world. But yeah, Devin got to do all of that. Devin got to do everything. While his contemporaries got to do what exactly? They say he got to fight Boots. And I was like, come on, bro. He got to do all of that?
In the meantime, everything he's done up to the point of what they're saying that he still needs to do, nobody else has done anything, but his track record is like speaking for itself.
Thank you.
It's like he moves that he's made. He's signed with other promoters. When somebody say, oh, well, you got to call Al and you got to be a part of this. He's been over at ESPN. He's been over there with Matchroom. He's been doing what's necessary to make fights, right? All the while, sometimes sacrificing money because the bag ain't the most important thing for him or whatever, but It's the only thing for a lot of these guys, and they still won't do what he's doing. It's like they will not. Tank would never leave the U.S. to go fight nobody. Nobody.
And when we say leave the U.S. to fight nobody, we're talking about somebody of substance. He went to the U.K. to fight someone he knew he was going to beat. Somebody of substance. You understand? This guy's not. I ain't gonna get on that, man. I'll save it for the week, man. This shit is ridiculous, man. This shit is a fucking scam, bro. It's a scam. And again, to bring the conversation full circle, I thought Africa won the fight, but it was close. And now, because it wasn't a dominating, because what people are ripping him now is because his talk didn't back up. The way he been talking lately, you thought he was supposed to go in there and smoke Lemos. He was supposed to go and smoke him. And he didn't do it. He didn't do it. It was a close fight. So
do you remember in the heavyweight era of like Lennox and Holyfield and those guys, there was a gentleman by the name of Francois Botha from South Africa. Do you remember Francois Botha?
Sure. Yeah.
And a lot of fighters didn't make the fame or claim to fame that Botha made. But do you know why Botha became what he ended up becoming during that era? It's because he would take on fights. He would fight people.
Yeah.
And he was beating guys. That's kind of being repeated here. We've got fighters out here who are willing to take on while others are looking to just hold fast and stand pat. They don't want to risk anything. They don't want to risk their record. They don't want to risk their ratings or their status of where they may be and things like that. And then yet and still the sport is getting younger. I've talked about this. There's a youth movement. There's a new era coming in. While these guys are still sitting around like bumps on a log, there's new fighters that are coming in both the women and men's division of boxing. And you're about to see some people get knocked off their perches, even if it's not in the ring. It's because they don't want to accept the competition, the challenge. And it's funny that we're having that conversation at all, because I've always said, and Drew, you know, I've told you this, I say the wheel will turn. It might this era of the duckers and stuff like that, that's gonna go by the wayside, and you're gonna have a new flop of fighters, and it's gonna be people going for it again, because it's like it's bound to happen. See, we were bound to go into this era because Floyd was a heavily influential guy that, toward the end of his career, where social media was kicking in and stuff like that. So he caught the allure of the public and stuff like that through social media toward the end and everything. But Floyd is not the standard bearer for boxing. He's someone that he got it good when he could. You know what I mean? And it's more than likely that's not going to happen no more, because they attack you economically from so many different ways. But the worst part of that is that his character, his integrity as a man, that was already compromised. And that's another reason why he don't represent well outside the ring. He don't even want fighters that he promotes and everything to be as good as he was. It's like, what does that sound like? Don't that sound like some of these music producers out there that will produce for you? But you better not touch their records. You better not get as good as them. Otherwise, we're gonna pull a string on you. We're gonna blow the whistle. It's like, wow, that's so selfish, isn't it? That they don't want you to be the best that you can be, but you can make as much money as you can for them.
Yep. This is y'all about to see 2024. This is an eclipse tomorrow and everything, man. Y'all about to see some shit. A lot of truth being told, man. And the closer this undisputed matchup at heavyweight comes, the more interested I become. Not so much as a fight. I want to know the aftermath. Now, if what L-Dub says is correct, can y'all explain why would they strip the winner of the IBF?
Well, I said it already.
Yeah, I'm saying. What is they, does anybody else have anything to add to that?
Because they're trying to find a way for AJ to become a 3-time world champion. That's the agenda for them, believe it or not. It is true. They want, see, becoming a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world now is a big thing. You know, it's a big thing. But you have to look at the circumstances that would allow for that. That's why I say a fighter like Dubois or Hrgovic could make them pump the brakes on that. And remember this, if that fight turns out to be a hell of a battle between Hrgovic and Dubois, AJ very well may, what's that word, Drew, that he was thinking about?
Retire.
Yeah. And if he does, y'all watch for that. Because it's not like, oh, he's had enough of this sport and everything. It's because he don't think he can beat certain guys. It's no longer just Deontay. It's a few of them.
Yeah.
They let, you know, I made this analogy too. You know, in the Kung Fu movies, at the end of the Kung Fu movie, there's usually a big boss, right? And he's got minions surrounding him. And when the heroes come for the boss, yeah, we come to get our revenge. And the boss is like, get him. And he's sending people out like Han did and Enter the Dragon at the end. Go get him. Yeah, that's like AJ and Hearn sending other guys in to take care of their business. You see? And then what did Han do at the end? Bruce ended up killing Han, but he would rather kill himself and sacrifice, you know, because it's like, oh, I don't want him to take me alive. Yeah, well, this is in boxing, that's what happens. You know why? Because the truth gets told in the ring.
Sure does.
Guys like Holyfield and Lennox Lewis and those men, they would go out on their shields, man. That's how you have to defeat them. They're not looking for something to happen and, oh, I'm glad we don't have to go that route because so-and-so took care of that. No, they didn't look at it like that.
Yeah.
They welcomed the challenges. And then when Father Time kicked in, Lennox got out just before Father Time tapped him on the shoulder. You know, he got out of there.
Move. He didn't need to run that back either.
Yeah.
He said, you know what, I'm done here. Fuck that. He called his own shots.
But think about it. AJ could be fighting again in the summer, couldn't he? But he told us September.
You know how far that is?
Are going to take place between now and then in the heavyweight division.
Now watch this. How many fights taking place? Adji Cabiel's fighting. Frank Sanchez is fighting. Jared Anderson is fighting. Hergovich is fighting. Dubois fighting.
FA's
fighting.
And I'm going to tell you something. That fight with FA and Vianello, that's not a lock in for FA.
Yeah, it's not.
Because Vianello can punch, but he's a boxer that has an Olympic background too. And he's a big guy like FA. He's 6'6" or 6'7" himself. So, you know, he had that one setback against Johnny Rice when he got that bad cut and everything. But who has FA blown out of the water? Nothing but these little sideshow guys that they've had him in there. Because his last big challenge was Frank Sanchez.
Yeah, and he lost that.
And ever since he fought that guy, he's had step back fights, not step up fights. Just like Jared Anderson, after having a tough go with Prince Charles Martin, he's had step back fights, not step up fights. Think about this. You can continue to feast and dine on bottom fed materials, but sometimes you got to come up to the surface, man. And when you stick your head up out the water, it can get knocked off. Huh? Yeah.
The fight that I wanted to see a while ago was FA versus Joe Joyce. Because I was like, man, whoever land first. But, you know, never happened. Yeah, Teach. I was thinking about Shaw. Shaw was one of those guys we heard 1,000 gym stories about. And when he got his opportunity, it just didn't pan out for him. You know what I'm saying? We held him to high, and salute to him. You know, we held him to high regards. But, you know, this is based off of what we were told. And then when he got his opportunity, the first fight we saw him in, he didn't pull the trigger. And he lost the decision. And then the next fight we saw him in, I think he got stopped, right? It was like, damn, what, I don't know. Bro, I can't make heads or tails of anything. You know, I know we heard these outstanding stories about Jared Anderson. And I'm telling y'all, if Charles Martin had a full camp, he'd have beat Anderson. Matter of fact, they wouldn't have let him fight Charles Martin if Charles Martin had a full camp. They wouldn't have let him fight him. Because I think Martin would have beat the shit out of him. That round 10, I think, when he started putting shit together and he put Anderson on the back foot, everyone was like, whoa, chill. You about to fuck up the money. That one round, I said, oh, okay. You see that? I saw it. Y'all saw that? I saw it. So I'm just saying, man. But salute the big shot, Shaw, man. I hope he don't give up. I'd like to see, what he can do next. But we're gonna pull this. We're gonna halt the train right here, man. Stormy, let them know how they can find you.
Everybody can find me right out here on YouTube, man. The channel is Stormy B Man. It's Stormy B Man, all caps, but no cap.
There it is, man. And salute to the Argentine fighters. Argentine fighters, no juegues. That means they don't play. So, these guys they're here. If you guys are promoters or anything like that, and a guy, just look out for that flag. And, just think about it. Do your homework. TD Harding back in that super chat says, Sensei, that analogy was hard to get. Analogy was hard to get head knocked off. Man, salute TD, man. Always support, man. Salute to you, good brother.
Yeah, and salute.
Nerds on Coach tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, and Pep Talk. I gotta listen, man.
And I'm sorry I was late again, man. I swear to God. Last time I looked at the clock, it was like 3:30 something. I was like, oh, I got time. I woke up, it was like 6:20. I was like, oh.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. We here. Yeah. Pep talk tomorrow, man. I got so much smoke, man. I swear to God, I be on Instagram just engaging in conversations, and these women keep coming for me just off of things that I've said. I'm like, wait a minute, why are they coming for me? This is the problem. What are you talking to me for? Then when you try and give, your thoughts, when you're met with, oh, you old niggas think you know everything, I respond with, what would your father say about this interaction right now? You're responding to a video that is clearly out of line. And then I say this, and that, and then you respond to me. I wasn't even talking to you. You respond to me in justification of a smut or a homosexual dude giving his opinion on a heterosexual situation. And I say that that's not right. And as soon as I say, what would your father say? I'm going to show y'all the responses I've gotten. As soon as I say, well, what would your father think of this? I'm hearing F that dude, and oh, okay, so you come from a broken house. Because N-words ain't ish, right? Your mama chose your father, that ain't ish. You have no male leadership in your house. But more on that tomorrow on Pep Talk. And I'm going to show y'all the receipts. But salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelle, the Cash App, the Super Chat. You know the deal. You know what I mean? And I'll be back in the AM talking this boxing about the sport that don't love us. And Noise on Culture and Pep Talk. And we support everybody that does content. We support everybody and love everybody that love us. If you don't love us, well, we love you unconditionally. And let's see how far hate gets you. Bronx on deck.
Move!
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.